Conservative talk from a different view. From the Casablanca studio in Golden, Colorado.
Yeah, here we are. It is three conservative gimps, not Art's place. That's the old call sign. That used to be the old station. But it's great to be here. Thank you. It's great to be here. So we got a great show today. We're going to be talking about ESG, which is environment, social governance, and how that is ruining a lot of companies. So let's get this show going. Let's welcome all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. It's the dulcet tones of Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty
How you
good.
doing, Art?
Good. Yeah. At least I found a razor.
Yeah, well, it was the weekend. Actually, after the way my show went Monday night, I didn't care how I looked or anything. I was just, right after you signed off Monday, I mean, literally, you said, good night, everyone. Lloyd's going to have to shut this down. All of a sudden, I noticed I had internet back, and I clicked on it and said, okay, he's left. Goodbye. Good night. Click. Oh, my God. We'd had that it was that afternoon earlier. It's actually probably about 40 minutes or 30 minutes before the show started that I got caught in that horrendous rain, and it just started knocking stuff out, and it's, as it had moved through it, and it eventually caught up with the cable. And they had the audacity to actually send me an email telling me that my internet wasn't working. Really? How was I supposed to read that email when I couldn't? Yeah. That was a little dumb, but anyways, it is what it is. Yeah. So I'm not clean shaven today. I thought about it and I thought, ain't worried about it.
All right, let's welcome our next guest, all the way from the great state of New York, and he is always in charge. Yes, it's Charles. Welcome.
Hey,
Charles.
hey, Lloyd. Hey, Art. Speaking of being in charge, I have to take charge. I have to be the man around the house, so I cannot stay on. Our cellar is flooded. I just found out our cellar is flooded. So we had a torrential rain here for over an hour. This is one of the most violent rainstorms that we've had, and I don't even know how long. There's actually we had corn that was like 3 feet tall out in the field right behind my house that just got bent right over from the force of the rain and the wind. So I have to, it's only me and my mom. So I have to man up and I have to go down and get the pump running and stuff and try to do as much as I can. If I can get back before the end of the show, I will. Elsewise, I'm going to have to just say, beg everybody's indulgence because I gotta take care of business here.
Yeah, right, you do what you got to do, Charles. That's absolutely.
Yep.
So
right, take care, and
before the show
hopefully you'll be dry soon.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully, hope everything works out there.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully, I'll be I said. Hopefully, I'll be able to get back before the show ends.
Okay.
Y'all take care, and I'll see you later.
All right, talk to you later.
Take care.
That's probably the most Charles.
Big man like you scare peanut. Hiya.
That's probably the most Charles has talked on this show since he started with us.
Yes, that's right.
And I wasn't going to interrupt him because he was on a roll there, so I was just letting him go.
All right, well, let's welcome the few people we have in the chat. We got Don Mudball in the chat, Chris Wedgeworth, and then we got Justin Droner Gaming. Wow, I think this is the first time he's been to the show. So good to see you.
It looks like he's probably on mine because I started broadcasting, so he probably has joined my channel.
Yes,
so
he has, because I noticed up in my corner, I can
Yeah.
see the other channels that are
The other two channels. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That must new. Okay, cool. So awesome.
Yeah.
Great. And then we have Chris Wedgeworth, Charles Galuski, and you, and that's it. So how you like the new logo up in the corner there?
I like it. You sent that to me the other day, and I think I saw it late last night. And Gene Fox is also
Hey
joining on
Gene,
my
good to
channel.
see you.
I like that new logo. It really looks sharp. So,
Yes,
did you
I
make
like
it, or did
I
you?
like it.
How'd you make it? What did you
I
use to make it?
use Canva.
Canva. Yeah.
Yep. It had a template, and I liked the
Yep.
symbol, and I just changed the text,
Yeah.
and it worked out great.
Yeah.
So,
Canva's a great program for all sorts of
it
things.
is.
I use it when I'm doing when I'm doing graphics, when I iron on graphics and stuff like that, or sublimation graphics is good for that, And but yeah, I like it. Looks sharp. Gives us
Yes.
makes us look like we're semi-professional, anyways.
Yeah, I've even changed the banner on the channel a little bit.
Good.
Yeah, I put the three conservative gimps in the center. I replaced it with the 3-headed dog. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So that's the new logo, and it's a new
Yes.
badge, and looks good. We got droning with Jamie. Good to see you. We got a good crowd today. And I've
Yeah.
noticed the last couple of shows have been getting a lot of views, which is good.
Good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think what's really nice is, being able to rebroadcast, because see, when I do my show, I send it through Facebook, I send it through YouTube, and I send it through Twitter. So this being broadcast over on Twitter is, good place for it. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd like to figure out how to do that. That'd be cool.
you just gotta, when you set up your broadcast, it'll allow you, where do you want to broadcast it, and all you have to, if it should show Twitter up there, and then you just sign into your Twitter and give it authorization, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
All done through
I'll do
StreamYard.
that. Chris wants to know what ESG stands for, and that is the topic of the day. It stands for environment, social, and governance. It basically it's what is it? Virtue signaling.
Yeah,
It's
virtue signaling.
wokeness,
Yeah,
basically.
wokeness. Yeah.
Yep. So, and the big culprit is a company called BlackRock. And basically, I just saw a video of the CEO of the company basically saying, well, we don't care if we lose money as long as we change the minds of the public. And it's like, no, that is not what companies are for. They're to
And
put out a
I'm sure
product and serve a need.
yeah, and I'm
That,
sure their shareholders just love to hear stuff like that. Like, we don't care if
well,
we make
and
money.
here's the problem: the shareholders are probably a bunch of millennials or younger people that are, woke as well, and they're the ones uh, hiring these CEOs. I mean, look at what happened to Disney. Disney's
Yeah.
stock is in the tank.
Yeah, and they just got downgraded again this last week, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of the environmental stuff, our beloved glorious leader just has gone to Europe, went to England and stuff. There, of course, he's this environmental, he's the environmentalist president, so he says, do you realize how many C-17 Globemaster jets they flew over there just to take him there? those things suck air, they just the damage done to the environment by just one of those going over there, not counting, I think last night, I think it was up to 6 different. Why does he need that much? But they flew his stretch limos over there.
Mhm.
They flew their
Entourage.
anti-electronic. Yeah, well, they have armored personnel carriers that
Mhm.
that run in front and back. They've got anti-surveillance, anti-electronic warfare vehicles that they like. This guy is supposed to be helping. Yeah, and 2 Marine Ones. You're right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's actually I thought it was 3 because they usually fly in groups of 3. That way you don't know which one he's in. But all of that for one man to go
Mhm.
over and shake hands and you know whatever. And I'm saying they don't understand what true environmental
Mhm.
conservative conservatism is. Which I hate to use environment and conservatism at the same time, but somebody who's truly concerned about the environment, you know, uh, would definitely realize that that is just they're not it's just smoke and mirrors, guys. It's all it
Yes.
is it's just a
Oh, it's
bunch of
like all
words.
these these I don't know, entertainers, celebrities,
Yeah, yeah,
and politicos that go over to Europe to the big convention at Davao, and how do they get there? They fly in their private jet. Yep, that's right.
yeah,
Waypoint.
yeah.
You've
More
got
more than
Steve Knowles and Ronnie. God bless America.
Yep. Yeah, I saw them, and I meant to say something too. Yeah, it's the environmental. It's just all they're using that environment platform for is a way of controlling us. It's just a new
Yes.
form of It's
Hmm.
just it's well, it's the same old story, but it's a new form of socialism.
Yep. Yeah,
And that's
it's the new way. Watermelon babies. They're green on the outside and red on the inside.
red on the inside. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And it's I saw that actually it was Grant Smith who Mr. Stay Drunk that actually sent me the videos last night. We were talking after we got home from a family reunion. He says, "Have you seen how much garbage they're sending to England right now?" And I said, "No." I said, and he sent me these links, and I was just like, the only thing I saw out of the whole thing that was impressive was one of the C-17s actually had to do a backup maneuver onto a side. It's just a side apron runway. It wasn't a runway. It was just a taxiway for small aircraft. But he pulled that thing, and then he turned around and he just backed that thing in. And those C-17s are huge. Let me tell you,
Yes,
they're
they
not as
are.
big as it. They're not as big as the C-5 Galaxy, but they're still. And for him to back that thing now, to give the guy, all right, he had the tail partway down and a guy in the back sitting there spotting for him. But still, that was and he that was a perfect backup. I mean, right down that, and he probably didn't have a wheel width on each side of his wheels to go off, or he'd been off in the grass. But he backed straight up in there. That was the only thing I
Wow.
saw about it that was impressive. It was some good piloting, but as far as it helping the environment, just smoke and mirrors, folks. Just smoke and mirrors.
Yep, that's right.
And you
And
know,
so what's happening is a different version of Cloward Piven strategy, where these activists get into these onto these boards, and they start electing woke CEOs, and they're taking down these companies.
yeah. Did you see what uh, Ronnie said there? He says,
Yes,
"Yeah,
dumping jet fuel in the yeah. Hmm.
yeah, yeah." I mean, there is no common sense to their version of environment protection.
Mm-hmm.
There's none, you know, and it's like you said, it's just it's just they're just talking to hear themselves talk because
Mm-hmm.
if they really cared about that, they'd put him in for $5.99 they can get a 2-person paddle boat and he could paddle his little ass right over to England
There you go.
and it would be totally environmental friendly. Well,
Mm-hmm.
except for the polyethylene they use to make the damn thing, but that's
True. Mm-hmm.
But look at the money we'd save, and look at the money we'd save if he got lost at sea.
Mm-hmm.
Let him use a paddle boat to get to England. That's what I say. Yeah. But he'd get there faster because now we know he uses cocaine and so that.
Oh yeah, I mean that'd be like a speedboat out there.
Yeah. And we know folks, we know it's not Hunter's cocaine that was found there
Mm-hmm.
because he strictly uses crack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, if it was his, he'd have the bag inside out, and he'd be rubbing his gums with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd take
Anyways,
and there wouldn't be any coke in it
I was
because
going to say there wouldn't have been none left. He wouldn't have dropped it.
he would have done it all right then and there. Yeah.
That's why I figure it's the old man's because he forgot where he laid it. Like, where did I put that stuff?
Oh, and now they're saying, "Oh, we'll never find out who did that." Oh, please! Come on, there's so much surveillance there.
I was going to say that's the most secure.
Yeah.
This Wordsworth. How do you know about that art? I mean, it's like
I watch TV. You
Yeah.
know.
That's the most secure place in our country, except for maybe, Leavenworth or Fort Knox or someplace like that. Yeah, really, come on, they know who did it, and they're just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So,
But anyways,
so-
I thought that was.
uh,
I thought that was funny.
No,
I heard
and-
somebody say that's the reason he was using it was because he needed a pick me up in the afternoon. Keep the president going. Give him a little coke.
yeah, there you go. And everybody, when he first got elected, everybody was worried that we'd be attacked by our enemy. And here we are, we're almost in the 4th year of his term, and it's like, they don't have to attack us. We are slowly dissolving ourselves from within with all this crap, this woke crap that I see on TV. You better accept me, by God. I don't care how my, lifestyle bothers you. Like, I don't care about your lifestyle. I just don't want to see it, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like was it Miss Universe from Sweden? The Miss Sweden who's going to be in the Miss Universe contest was
Mhm.
originally a Mister,
Ooh,
and
Oh.
they voted for a transgender
ooh.
to
So
be their
they got Miss Universe with meatballs. Swedish
Yeah.
meatballs.
Swedish meatballs. Yeah. And they're wanting to let Sweden into the
NATO?
NATO. Yeah, I could see North
Oh, it was
America.
Finland.
Yeah. No, I thought I heard Sweden today.
Oh,
I went out. I ran out about 30 minutes before the show started. And they said Sweden. I go,
oh boy.
hey,
Mhm.
and they're the ones who have the transgender beauty contestant.
Yeah.
Whatever. Where are the women with
So-
all this? Gotta be pissed by now.
So, anyway, so our enemies don't have to do a damn thing. They just sit back and they go, they're probably, can you believe these guys? Look at this shit. I mean, we don't have to do shit. We could just sit here and watch that country just implode from within. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why the Philippines is looking better and better for me. You know, when I was over there, my stress level just went down, and I didn't watch anything on what was going on here. I just didn't give a crap.
Yeah. Well, it's gotten to the point where I hardly, I only reason I looked at the news.
Hey, we got Jim. Help at home, Jim. Good to see you, sir.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, Jim. Long time no see. I'm glad he was in here. So yeah, it was I forgot where I was going with that. I had a thought yesterday, as I told you before the show. We went to a family reunion, and my brother was there, and we were sitting there. He was getting ready to leave, but we were talking, and he says, he looks at me and my cousin and Judy, and says, he says, I found a way that we can all get rich and still be taken care of. I said, well, how's that? He says, well, if you look around here, he says, let's all put our money together and buy a nursing home, invest in a nursing home. He says, one, we can be making profit, $6,000-$7,000 a month, money will be rolling in. Plus, we can live there because there's enough of us that probably belong in a nursing home. We can all live in the nursing home, be taken care of, and get rich at the same time. So I guess we're going to get a family nursing home and
there you go. Yep. Call it Shady Acres.
Yeah, Shady Acres. That would be about right. Yeah. But yeah, that's where my thought was going.
Justin says he'll never leave. Yeah, I don't want to, but the cost of living is getting higher and higher, and Colorado is just going to the crappers right now.
Yeah.
And
I won't leave either, simply because I just won't. I got too much. I got too much here as far as family, and I got my kids here, my grandkids, and Judy would never leave.
Yeah.
And she's born and bred true Okie, and that's the way she's going to die. And
well, and I don't have much family. I just have my sister and my niece, and they're okay with me going.
And if you have a place in the Philippines, they might want to come out and visit you every so often. So
yep. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Captain Joe America, welcome.
Oh, hey Joe, we got 15 people watching.
Good.
That is
good.
Awesome. I think that's the biggest crowd we've had so far. So, yeah, so all we need to do is build up those watch hours. We are closing in on 500. And, congratulations to Bill Ronayne. He just got monetized. And
did he? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, during my show last night, he got some super chats because he simulcast my show.
That's right. I saw that, and I didn't even think about the fact that he wasn't monetized until then. See,
yep.
Everybody's getting that but me.
I gave him a super sticker.
Good. Yeah, I saw. I came in right at the.
Yes.
Right at the end, but I got to tell you a quick story. One of the cousins, the younger generation, was helping Judy get in the van because the way the vehicles were parked, she had to walk a little way. So I was getting her wheelchair loaded up and all that stuff. Anyways, and then Judy started having some breathing problems, and they couldn't find her nebulizer. So this cousin is a nurse, so she ran inside to get us out of her medical stuff and a nebulizer for Judy. And Judy found it. We stopped her. She came back. So we're on the way home, and there'd been a bunch of the little kids, like third and fourth cousins, the grandkids and great grandkids of the bunch out there. They had little boys playing around there. I'm driving along, and I got the radio on, and I'm hearing this. I'm like, I look around and keep going. I said, "Did you hear that?" No, I didn't hear anything. And it sounded like a frog, and we were out in the country, and I heard this. I kept hearing this damn frog. And finally, I turned off the radio, and finally Judy heard it, and she said, "Yeah, I'm hearing that." Finally, and I kept going. I thought them little snots put a frog in my damn van. Now I'm going to have to crawl around back here and find it because it was 90 some odd degrees and hot. And I wasn't going to lock the van up with a friggin' frog in there because that would have really stunk. I'm still going along.
Frogged up your windows.
Yeah, it would have frogged up my van. So, anyways, and I kept listening to it, and then all of a sudden I thought, that's a funny sounding frog. So I pulled over at one of the rest stops, and as I got out to pick up, as I got out, my phone rang, and it's like, and it was my cousin. About that time, I'd opened up the door next to Judy, and she laid her phone down to help Judy out, and she forgot to pick her phone up, and she'd been ringing her phone trying to get us to answer it. So, all right, I turned around and went back.
So she's got the frog ring.
She's got the frog ring on it, and I went in there. I said, I thought one of these little scamps around here threw a frog in the back of my van. I said, I drove on for 15 minutes trying to figure out where the hell that damn frog was at. Yeah. And plus, there was a bit of a pressure change between where that was at. It's a little higher elevation than what it is here in Muskogee. And I lost the hearing on my right ear. And so how when you go in high altitude and your
ears pop. Yeah.
Mine wouldn't pop. It got halfway and then just, and so it was like talking in a fishbowl,
Well, here's what you do is you pinch your nose and you blow.
I tried it all. You got to remember, I grew up in Colorado. I know what it's like going up in the mountains. I learned all that. Mm-hmm. I tried everything, and it would not break loose. And it's like, oh my! And so I'm hearing this frog noise. But anyways, that was what happened to me yesterday. Damn. And of course, they all thought it was funny because had the parents or any of the others that were, the parents and grandparents of these kids, they probably would have stuck a frog in my van because that's just kind of, we all were like that, we did stuff like that. These little kids they're like, who's this cranky old man thinking we'd stick a frog in their van? Like, who the hell is he? But yeah. Anyways, so I had to turn around and go back, but yeah, it's anyway, I'll get off that story. Oh, did you see our glorious ambassador or whatever she is, Yellen, going over?
Well, she's not an ambassador.
She's a secretary of something or another.
Yes, secretary of Treasury.
Oh, secretary of the Treasury. Why the hell is she even over there? She begging the Chinese for more money?
Could be. Yep. Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe she was telling them, "Hey, sorry for taking your land from the Indians."
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Got Ed.
Hey,
Ed, good
love
to
my
see
drones.
you.
Yes, definitely good to see you. Yeah. I saw that today and I thought, what is wrong with these people that they don't know protocol? Do they not at least teach them the basics?
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of are we even close to being on topic with what you had written down?
Well, mostly it's just ESGs and whatever was hot this week.
Well, there is something that I saw today that today or Sunday at St. Peter Basilica, the Pope Francis announced his picks for new cardinals.
Ooh.
And almost all of them are leftist.
Oh boy.
And these are the people that are he's putting in these social justice warriors and leftists in line in the cardinalship.
Mm-hmm.
So the next pope that is picked, his predecessor, will be a a liberal. You know, he wants a liberal picked, and
You know what that's going to do? That's just going to drive more people away from the church.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you know, Pope John Paul II, he was terrific. He brought a lot of people into the church, and it just seems like ever since his
when
passing,
John Paul II was Pope, uh, the last 5 years of his life, they had increasingly larger and larger people. Yeah, and it was one of the most is one of the largest. I think the year before he died was the largest amount of intake of new Catholics to the church, and most of these were conversions. You know, they were they weren't just new Christians. They were from other Christian denominations, and it just increased. And since he's been there, it's been going downhill rapidly.
Yep.
Pope Benedict was handpicked by he was originally Cardinal Ratzinger, and he had been handpicked as to fill that position by John Paul II, and he was a little, by the time John Paul passed away, Ratzinger or Pope Benedict was a little too old for that position, and he got a lot of flack from the people that were the liberals that were in the church, and they basically forced him to leave,
Right.
and that's why he resigned. He just died this year, and so he was Pope Emeritus, and he just died this year, and
Right.
or the end of last year, I can't remember which. It's just
Right.
it's been within the year,
Right.
and he could have continued to carry on.
Right.
Because look at and he was sharp. He was a conservative. He was a hardcore Catholic. He didn't believe in all this liberalism, and that's just destroying not only the Catholic Church, but it spreads out from there and goes into the other churches. I mean, we look at all the liberalism that's come in. Look at the United Methodist Church; they're splitting and falling apart left and right. Got the Southern Baptist Convention just had one of their big one of their largest churches leave because because they're liberal and they didn't fit in line with what the Southern Baptist Convention wanted. So this liberalism, and now we got a pope that's setting up 27 cardinals that he's getting ready to appoint. That will be, some cardinals are getting ready to retire, and there's at least, and they're younger, so they're going to be around for a while. They're in their 50s, so they're going to be around for another 20.
Well, the
25
Arizona
years.
Cardinals, they need to.
Yeah, but
they need to build
you
up.
can't depend on you can't depend on the Arizona Cardinals.
Where's St. Louis?
They're wishy-washy because sometimes they're St. Louis.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're they just move around too much to depend on the
Well,
Cardinals
they've
at all.
been in Arizona for over 20 years now.
Has it really been that long?
Yep. It's the Rams that keep moving around.
Well, yeah, the Rams have been moving all over too. But to me, Arizona Cardinals doesn't. I still think St. Louis. So
yeah.
it's probably been that long since I watched a baseball game, anyways.
Yep. That's right, Justin. And we got Tim Jackson in the chat.
Yeah, hey Tim.
Good to see you, Tim. And you're right. Pope Benedict died December 31st.
Okay, I knew it was within the year, and
Yep.
That's right. He died on New Year's Eve.
I don't know how that escaped me, but yeah.
Yeah. He died. Yeah, they kept it kind of low key. They've really.
Well, speaking of low key, look who's back.
Hey, Charles.
Hey.
You made it.
Yes. Luckily, the pump was still all set up. I just had to get it safely plugged in, and then liberate the the hose from underneath the pile of junk so that the water would pour well away from the house instead of immediately pouring right back in.
Right back in. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot more water down there than I thought. There's a good inch of water. I put on my winter boots, and when I went down and put my foot down on the floor, the water went right up over the top of the soles. So, and that was inside of just like a couple of hours. We've never had that much rain that fast.
Wow.
Yeah. There have been some really crazy weather patterns, just like the one last Monday. This last Monday, just it was so bad at one point I couldn't see. I was driving in my truck. I couldn't even see the end of my hood. I couldn't see. And it's a '99 Ford F-150. It's standard truck size. And I couldn't see the end of the hood. That's how bad it was. That's how hard it was raining. That was with my windshield wipers running at full blast, and I think in 30 minutes we got an inch and a half. Inch and a half of rain in 30 minutes.
Denver just got a big downpour last week where it opened up a sinkhole on Auraria Parkway there.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that on the internet. Yeah.
And then there was one at I think it was at Cherry Creek State Park, and some kid with a drone spotted the car that got into that sinkhole and got some people over there, and there were 2 people trapped inside that vehicle.
Yeah, we were coming home one night here. It was years ago, and we were crossing this one way, and there was a railroad track there, and we noticed there was a car stopped just on the other side of the railroad track, and we could see taillights, so we pulled up, and somebody's waving like that to stop us. And on the other side of the railroad tracks, he'd been driving, and it was a kid we knew. It was one of my cousin's nephews, and so we knew his family. And in the what had happened, he went over the railroad tracks, and about 5 feet, 10 feet out from the railroad tracks, there was a sinkhole, and as he was driving across, the bottom just dropped out, and he was stuck in like that and managed to crawl out, and then was waving people off, to get, and he'd called somebody to get and it was before cell phone, so it was, he'd had to, he had somebody stop by, and they went and called the police to come out there, and it dropped all it was sitting out was just about this much of the back end, and you could see the lights flashing,
So, Charles, what are we looking at here?
Well, this is one of the corner posts on the deck, and this right here is the holder for our flag. The white bar here is the flagpole. Yeah. It used to go off like that direction. So the wind got a hold of it and bent it back probably a good 30 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, this was no joke.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing.
Crazy weather. It's been a crazy weather system this year.
Yep.
Yes. Is it El Nino that we're in?
Yeah.
This one is actually because there's I forgot what the guy's channel name is, but he does a lot of is it Ryan Hall, y'all? I think is the name of it, and he's a weatherman, and he said this year it was going to be a super El Nino, so it was going to be extremely.
Yeah.
They said the weather was going to be extreme. Be going. Some areas we're going to get extreme amount of rains that they don't usually have, and almost any weather system that passes through is going to be extreme one way or the other. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm worried about what winter is going to be like here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Charles, we were talking about ESGs, and I know you kind of have something to say about that.
Well, it all has to do with, for me, I'm seeing it a lot in motion picture companies, especially Disney, because Disney owns so much now. And this year, over the last 15 movies that they've released and some of their television shows, they've lost close to $1 billion.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's other companies, like Target and Bud Light, that are doing the same thing, that are losing huge amounts of money. The thing that I'm concerned about is that a lot of these companies have heavy investment from what's called institutionalized investors, namely BlackRock and Vanguard.
Right.
And they have such almost unimaginable wealth and assets that they can go, okay, here, you've lost money. We're going to cover all your losses. So they won't feel the pain the way they should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I watch a lot because I'm an old school Star Wars fan and, an old school Indiana Jones fan and all this other stuff. So I watch these, I watch the people out there that are criticizing the movie, people that are complaining about, woke culture entering into our entertainment system and stuff. And they're all like, where are the investors? Why, how come this person or that person still has a job? Why isn't the Disney board outraged and why aren't heads rolling? Well, it's because of Vanguard and BlackRock, because these are the kinds of things, these are the kinds of products, these are the kinds of films that BlackRock and Vanguard want made.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
I'm like you. I was thinking the same thing. What about the
we are
investors?
no longer their customers. Vanguard
That's
and BlackRock are their customers.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And that explains a lot. What do we do to fix it? How do we? How
The only
can
thing
we
I know
combat
what
that?
to do is it sucks because I'm not like, I don't subscribe to watch any Star Trek. I don't subscribe to watch anything Star Wars anymore. And for me, I grew up with that. When I got into Star Trek at the age of 3 because or science fiction, I should say, because my great grandmother wanted to watch Lost in Space and Star Trek. And so she'd pull me up on her lap and say, come up here, come on and watch this with me because I'm scared of the monsters. And I want you here with me because I'm scared of the monsters. So I am dyed in the wool. And this is painful for me.
It is.
Because it fueled me and fueled my creativity for most of my life. But I'm not going to the movies. I'm not going to give these people my money. So other than that and just praying, I don't know what else we really can do.
Yeah.
And we don't need to necessarily pray for anybody's downfall, but we do need to pray for a shift here.
Yes.
Something, somehow there's some David that can defeat these Goliath companies.
Right.
I don't know where it's going to come from, but.
Yeah. Ed says, he says he heard that BlackRock was backing off a bit. That would be nice.
Yeah, that's right,
well,
Justin.
I certainly hope he's correct.
Gotta go through sensitive training and gender training. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
otherwise HR will be all over the rat.
It's oh my God! It's just the ludicrousy of where not just this country but the whole friggin' world has gone just off the deep end with some of this stuff. It's just, I mean, what it was 7.5 years ago, we had all these Hollywood women out there, wearing their funky looking hats and saying "Me Too," and
what kind of hats were those?
the vagina hats. It's just like now, what are they going to wear? Let's say Trump gets reelected. What are the hats going to look like to protest him?
Oh, I think they're going to be penis hats.
That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll have a vagina hat with a set of balls up front. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Well, maybe they'll be made of wood.
Yeah, the ludicrousy of this And how, I mean, it's just like, how do these people fall for this crap? I mean, it's just like, this is, I'm just,
Hmm.
yeah,
Uh,
Dylan Mulvaney, yeah, she, or it, whatever, created a bit of
Right.
had created quite the controversy, and I think it shook a lot of people up. I think it kind of rattled the trees just a little bit, and because now there's distributors that are having to lay off people because you know because they're not selling enough. Their biggest seller was Bud Light, and now they can't give it away.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
they're having to. Some of these distributors are having to shut down. There's been 3 or 4 major distributors that have actually shut their doors
They're all
because of
drinking
this.
Heinies.
Yeah.
it's better beer, anyways.
Yeah, Bud Light was. I've always been of the opinion if you're going to drink a beer, drink the real stuff, not the sissy stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that may be where it started when we started getting these light beers. They went from drinking light beers to lighting the loafers. It's just
Hmm.
that's what I'm thinking. I just maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I look at it. 'Cause I've always said if you're gonna drink a beer, drink a real beer.
Yep.
Don't drink one of these lightweight sissified beers. And that seems to
Yeah.
be
You
what.
scare peanut. Big man like you scare peanut. Hiya.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's it right there. Yeah,
Yep.
it's the
It's crazy.
ludicrousy of
It's
our.
getting
Yeah,
nuts. Dogs, cats mingling in the streets. What the hell is going on?
yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Yep.
I do have to bring up one thing. Have you noticed my dog hasn't barked?
Ooh. You finally got those bark collars.
I got for the noisiest one. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Uh,
Good.
Ed says he was watching his figure. Okay.
Well, we're watching it too. Because round
Yeah.
is the shape.
Round is a shape.
Hmm.
What was nice at this family reunion, I was actually the skinniest one there for a change. And I had the fullest head of hair, too.
Oh, there you go.
My
All
brother,
right.
my cousins, they're bald headed. They're big and, I had a full head of hair, and I probably weighed 50 pounds less than the lightest one there. So I've lost a lot of weight, too. So they were kind of giving me crap like, you need to come over here and eat some more because you're too skinny. Like, okay, whatever.
Oh, yeah, Ronnie brings up a interesting point. It popped in my head about how criminals are getting away with a lot of shit. Like here in Denver area, um, at King Super, the employees are instructed not to, if they see shoplifting, don't stop. So this one person instead got out her cell phone and was filming this. She or he got fired for that. It's like, come on.
Uh, we were hearing this. I was hearing this very sort of conversation yesterday because several of the cousins, children who are adults now, work, for Walmart or something like that. And this, my cousin's son-in-law, who is the same age as my son James, he went to put into. He was going to become a what do they call theft recovery officer or whatever they call
Mm-hmm.
their security.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought him in. He was handing in the application. He said, I got to know. He says, because uh, he says, what sort of training do we get? He says, in case I have to take somebody down. The guy says, excuse me, take somebody down? He says, yeah, strong arm them, good forearm, drop them to the ground, make them drop the stuff they're stealing, tackle them to hold them till the cops get here. oh, we're not going to be putting your application forward. We don't do that. You're not allowed to lay a hand on them. You're not allowed to do anything but pick up the phone and call the police. Just then, why do you have security? Why not just let the regular employees call the police?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're not allowed to. They get sued if they lay hands on.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
because
the store
we've
will get sued.
so litigious that
Yes.
people sue at a drop of a hat. I think what needs to happen is at a city or a state level that they need to pass laws saying, hey, you're going to steal, you know what? You're going to have to deal with the consequences of, theft. And if you get hurt, that is tough cookies.
Yeah.
You are not going to sue that person. And we got to stop this crap.
Yeah. Years ago, back when Judy and I first got married, I was working for one of the convenience stores as a manager. And I was a floating manager, so I went around from different stores. Well, I had worked at one store the night before, and then got called into another one the day because I had been covering that store for 2 weeks while the one manager was this assistant manager was on vacation. The night he came back, some guy comes into the store at gunpoint, makes him go into the back room, and then the guy commences to steal cigarettes and break open the cash register. Well, in the back rooms back there, they have, some stores have a panic button. You push that, and it calls the cops. So he did. And he was in the very back. There's a back storage area, and then in the back of that, inside that is a small bathroom that, for the employees. And inside that bathroom is where one of the panic buttons is. So he goes back there. He looks out, and he sees the cops pulling up. So he goes and hightails it back. They ended up, this guy got into a gunfight with these cops. And it was over cigarettes and less than $50 worth of cash.
Mm.
And he's in the back bathroom. And of course, they're just, it's just some plywood and sheetrock and, not made out of much, certainly not bulletproof. And the guy's trying to get in the bathroom to hold him hostage, and he's propped up with his feet against. Bullets come flying in over his head. They go through the sheetrock over his head. And then finally, and he's saying, hey, I'm in here, And so they end up shooting this guy, and they end up paralyzing not the employee, but the bad guy got paralyzed. And they had to, he couldn't get out of the room until they moved the guy's, move the perpetrator out of the way, and they had to make sure, so he was stuck in there for a little while, and they finally moved him out of the way, but they had to get his gun away. They didn't want him to come out because when he fell, he could have fallen on his gun. They were trying to locate his gun.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up not pressing charges against this guy. The guy's paralyzed for life.
Uh-huh.
They didn't press charges because they would have been liable for his medical bill once they press charges, and he's in their custody.
Right.
They are liable. So, and this was, God, 40 plus, about 40 years ago when this happened. So, even back then they knew that, that's why they didn't press charges on him. Of course, he finally passed about 3 years later, but, he was never able to rob a store again. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But now the cops would have been sued. The police department, the city would have been sued. The store would have been sued. The employee that was there would have been sued. They would have sued everybody, and this guy would have been, he would have been paralyzed, but he'd have been, him and his family for the next 3 generations would be living very comfortably.
Yep, that's true. That sucks. It's
but
it's like
that
we need
this is what's
what
wrong
I
with
call
society.
tort reform, where you can't, turn if you're in a commission of a crime, that automatically negates you from suing somebody. It's like, because you're responsible for putting yourself in that situation. And if you didn't get in that situation, you wouldn't have been dead or seriously injured.
Yeah, it's like these young people were talking last. They said there's one of the Walmart stores they won't go into because they have, you know, they have no security there because the security can't do anything about it, and they have constant shoplifting. They have gunfights out in the parking lot. They have drive-by shootings in the store, and and this is up in Oklahoma City, so it's Oklahoma City is a little got a little worse than what say Tulsa or Muskogee does, but still, it's like you hear these young people talk about this, and you're going, and they know they're and of course I live in Oklahoma, one of the reddest states in the union, but even they know there's something wrong with this. These are some of these, a couple of them are in their 3 or 4 of them were in their mid-20s. I don't know. They were cousins, but I don't know who in the hell they belonged to. They were kids of somebody. But
well, guys, we've managed to do an hour, and I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. This is a great show. We got up to 17 viewers, and it's like, that's awesome. So everybody have a great week. God bless you, and we'll catch you next time. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.